Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody from LA Sunshine, LA, West Coast, West Coast. It's Oscar weekend. Welcome, everybody. I'm Bebe Davis, 1021 Magazine's publisher and founder. We're celebrating our 22nd year as the first full-featured digital lifestyle magazine in the world, darlings. Welcome, everybody. So, I'm on West Coast time. You could be on West Coast time. You could be on Midwest time. You could be on East time. You could be global, because that's where we reach you. Global. But we're not talking Oscars just yet. We're talking the State of the Union for President Joe Biden on last night. And so I'm breaking down my POVs. So thank you so much for logging in. So if you need to get your refreshments, I'm going to give you that time as I finish up also my delicious breakfast. Okay, so we got more to unpack here because I'm going to be speaking upon my POVs and breaking down this State of the Union address. And we are live. And I thank you so much for logging in with me. You may hear some background noise, but of course, this is the normalcy, especially when you go live. You can go live or you can go live with chat. We will have some of those live with chat moments, but let's get back into these moments right here, right now. Stay locked in. Welcome, everybody. Thanks so much for locking in. I'm Bebe Davis, publisher and founder of 1021 Magazine. Let's lock it in for the State of the Union address, POV with me. So we're going to get into the rest of this State of the Union. And we're going to go back to that highlight moment that we left off with last, and President Joe Biden stated, and here's the simplest truth. You can't love your country only when you win. That was very powerful, impactful. And it's going to be a lot of talking points for others as they weigh in on their POVs. Okay, President Joe Biden goes on to say in the State of the Union address, as I've done ever since being elected to office, I ask you all without regard to party to join together and defend our democracy. Remember your oath of office to defend against all threats, foreign and domestic, respect free and fair elections, restore trust in our institutions, and make clear political violence has absolutely no place in America. History is watching. Now, as I stated before, the whole history is watching. I think that's a gaffe, and that's coming from the speechwriter. I know what he means. A lot of other people know what he means. Let's say intelligent all together right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Intelligent. We are intelligent, but that just kind of irks me right there. And I hope he cleans that up going forward as the president will be out on that campaign trail, because it is election year 2024. The world watches. America watches. History is happening. What we do now, we'll go into the Historia, the sands of time, that kind of thing. All right, let's just keep going. And history is watching another assault on freedom. Joining us tonight is Latoya Beasley, a social worker from Birmingham, Alabama. 14 months ago tonight, she and her husband welcomed a baby girl thanks to the miracle of IVF. She scheduled treatments to have a second child, but the Alabama Supreme Court shut down IVF treatments across the state, unleashed by the Supreme Court decision overturning Roe versus Wade. She was told her dream would have to wait. What her family has gone through should never have happened. And unless Congress acts, it could happen again. So tonight, let's stand up for families like hers. So, Beasley stood up, standing ovation from those who wanted to do that. And so we move on. Like most Americans, I believe Roe versus Wade got it right. And I thank Vice President Harris for being an incredible leader, defending reproductive freedom, and so much more. There was a standing ovation and some claps for that moment. But it goes back to former President Donald Trump. But my predecessor came to office determined to see Roe versus Wade overturned. He is the reason it was overturned. In fact, he brags about it. Look at the chaos that has resulted. Joining us tonight is Kate Cox, a wife and mother from Dallas. When she became pregnant again, the fetus had a fatal condition. Her doctors told Kate that her own life and her ability to have children in the future were at risk if she didn't act. Because Texas law banned abortions, Kate and her husband had to leave the state to get the care that she needed. What her family has gone through should never have happened as well, but it is happening to so many others. And I love this moment because he is highlighting exactly what happens. Not only just two people consenting to be together and someone becomes pregnant and you want to make the choice to terminate it, which that still should be your choice. But the moments that overturn affected was those who unfortunately may be forced in a rape situation, known or unknown. Those who it's your life or the child's. It's just a terrible thing, and it is happening to a lot of people. So I thought that was just really great that he spoke upon that moment. He goes on to say, many of you in this chamber and my predecessor are promising to pass a national ban on reproductive freedom. My God, what freedoms will you take away next? In its decision to overturn Roe versus Wade, the Supreme Court majority wrote, women are not without electoral or political power. No kidding. Clearly, those bragging about overturning Roe versus Wade have no clue about the power of women in America. They found out, though, when reproductive freedom was on the ballot and won in 2022, 2023, and they will find out again in 2024. Boom. This was another powerful aspect there when you have the justices who were there just to hear exactly what President Biden is talking about for just in case he becomes president for another term in office. So again, this is the State of the Union address as well as the election speech. If Americans send me to Congress, or I should say, if Americans send me a Congress that supports the right to choose, I promise you I will restore Roe versus Wade as the law of the land again. That is a powerful, powerful statement right there, stating if I win again and we can win in the Congress, support me, because this will support to overturn Roe versus Wade and restore it as the law of the land again. That was very powerful. Bold statement, letting the voters know this is what to expect and what I will do if he is elected. And that caveat is going to be send me a Congress that supports. That's going to be one of the biggest caveats. So stay locked in, get refreshed here. Just a quick intermission.
Thanks for watching.
Subscribe.
Okay, everybody, we're back. Just had to do a little intermission. And right now, I am feeling so Hollywood. Okay, it's Oscar weekend, but we're talking about the State of the Union address. But we have some lovely, seriously, Sinatra playing in the background, Sirius XM, so make sure you lock in for that. Okay, so let's get back into the rest of the State of the Union address from Joe Biden to the American people and the nation, and I'm giving my POVs. All right. When President Biden stated, "My God, what freedoms will you take away next?" That was a powerful moment because he's speaking for a lot of people. That's just how a lot of people felt, like we're feeling like we are in more of a dictatorship type of situation. So with the caveat there, President Biden stated, "You got to send me a Congress that's going to support this, and then we can get Roe versus Wade restored." He goes on to say, "America cannot go back. I'm here tonight to show the way forward because I know how far we've come." 4 years ago next week, before I came to office, our country was hit by the worst pandemic and the worst economic crisis in a century. So now we're hearing that political election campaign speech coming to remind people what happened during the height of COVID, the pandemic, and where we were financially and economic crisis. Joe Biden goes on to say, "Remember the fear, record job losses, remember the spike in crime and the murder rate. A raging virus that would take more than 1 million American lives and leave millions of loved ones behind. A mental health crisis of isolation and loneliness. A president, my predecessor, who failed the most basic duty any president owes the American people, the duty to care. This is unforgivable. I came to office determined to get us through one of the toughest periods in our nation's history. And we have. It doesn't make the news, but in thousands of cities and towns, the American people are writing the greatest comeback story never told." I thought that was a powerful moment too. It could have been hammered in home a little more, maybe slow down that tone to drive it on home. But that was a good highlight spark there in the State of the Union address. President Biden goes on to say, "So let's tell that story here and now. America's comeback is building a future of American possibilities, building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down, investing in all of America, in all Americans to make sure everyone has a fair shot and we leave no one behind. The pandemic no longer controls our lives. The vaccines that saved us from COVID are now being used to help beat cancer, turning setback into comeback. That is America." Now, for some, they'll take this moment right here where he says that the COVID vaccines are now helping to beat cancer. Many people were already kind of fearful about those vaccines and taking them anyway, saying that they would start something within them that wasn't there in the first place. And so if it's treating cancer, that would give someone an open to say, well, what was really into those vaccines? To just give more talk about the vaccines. All right, so we'll keep going. Turning setback into comeback. This is America. I inherited an economy that was on the brink. Now our economy is the envy of the world. That's a little overreaching that our economy is the envy of the world, but we'll just keep going. We'll just keep going on that one. 15 million new jobs in just 3 years. That's a record. Unemployment at 50-year lows. A record 16 million Americans are starting small businesses, and each one is an act of hope. With historic job growth, small business growth for Black, Hispanic, and Asian Americans. 800,000 new manufacturing jobs in America and counting. More people have health insurance today than ever before. The racial wealth gap is the smallest it's been in 20 years. He's breaking it down. Wage keeps going up and inflation keeps coming down. Inflation has dropped from 9% to 3%, the lowest in the world, and traveling lower. And now, instead of importing foreign products and exporting American jobs, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs right here in America where they belong. And the American people are beginning to feel it. Consumer studies show consumer confidence is soaring. Buy American has been the law of the land since the 1930s. Past administrations, including my predecessor, failed to buy American. Not anymore. On my watch, federal projects like helping to build American roads, bridges, and highways will be made with American products built by American workers, creating good paying American jobs. And we'll stop right there. We have seen in many individual states, cities, counties, as long as you keep abreast of what's happening, if you're a statistical person and you're looking at the stats of what the pulse is on America, you will see that, yes, there have been lots more gains since then, but also there have been some more gains, whereas rent, homes, trying to be a homeowner, and other things like that have just skyrocketed, where some people feel it is hopeless. Well, guess what? When we come back, we will have what the president has to say about that, because he did address it. So stay locked in with me, Bebe Davis, for Bebe Loves Sports. Sports and gaming is exquisite fusion. Got the beautiful Frank Sinatra on deck. LA Sunshine. Happy TGIF, everybody. I'm Bebe Davis, and more to come as we conclude my POV moments for the State of the Union address.
Thanks for watching.